everyone, today we're going to be taking a look at an XFX Radeon RX560 4GB. No, it is not very powerful, but I like taking a look at these 4GB cards for mining altcoins because they could be potentially good and low power. So that's why I bought this one for $100 used off of Facebook Marketplace. The only thing that's interesting is this has a sticker over it. It's not the original label for the 560. Normally it's just one hole printed and they print in each box for what they need. Well, it shows up in Hive OS as a Radeon RX 460. Now, for someone who probably wants to use this for gaming, they would be annoyed by the 5% performance uplift you get between the 400 series and the 500 series. For me, it doesn't really matter for mining. So I got a little test rig set up here. As you can see, it's a single fan. Surprisingly, it actually does take a 6-pin PCIe connector. I figured the power draw on this would be low enough that it would just rely on the PCIe slot itself, but it does need a 6-pin PCIe slot. I have an overkill motherboard for this testing on a GPUrisers.com riser board, and we're going to try a couple different algorithms here. So as we can see right here, I also have the CPU doing some Scala or XLA. That's not a big deal for what I want to show you right now. The one algorithm I really wanted to try on this was Vertcoin, and it actually does pretty good. This card by Vertcoin is only rated for, I think, about 220 kilohashes after all the custom BIOS modding I did to it, and instead of using their own miner, Team Red Miner just recently added on their Vertcoin algorithm to their mining software, and that gave it another little boost. So let's run over to a spreadsheet real quick. And if I come on over here, we're going to be taking a look at these few lines, the second grouping right here. Now, bone stock, just running it as the way it was when it came out of the box, running on Verthash Miner, not Team Red, just Verthash Miner, I was getting only 157 kilohashes a second and pulling 78 watts at the wall, and the motherboard by itself at idle pulls 18 watts, which gives us a rig mega hashes per watt. Well, it's barely a mega hash, but it comes out to 0.0020. It's abysmal. So then I put on stock BIOS, but I did put a minor overclock on it, and I got up to 0.166 at 66 watts. So we did save some power at this point with the overclock, and that only brought it up to 0.0025. So it's not much better. Then I decided to mod the BIOS on it, and I've tried doing the free version of Polaris Bios Editor and then the paid version of Polaris Bios Editor Pro 3. And the only way I can get this card to run stable was with the Pro version. So it's definitely worth it if you have a lot of Polaris cards to spend the $65 for the Pro version. It works a lot better than the free version. But let's get back to the numbers here. Pro modded, we got up to 0.238, and that's on Verthash still. And that brings us up to 0.0034. Now, that's a pretty good jump from originally being at 0.0020. So the last line is when we used the exact same overclocks, but then we moved over to Team Red Miner's algorithm. And that went from 238 to 268, saved 2 watts. The card runs a little bit cooler, and now we've literally doubled the performance of it from bone stock. Originally, bone stock was 0.0020. Now we're at 0.0040. So that came out really good for this card itself. Now, some people will ask, why do I want to run Team Red Miner on the card when there's a 2% dev fee and you can run the Verthash Miner at a little bit of a less hash rate but no dev fee? Well, The difference between running VertHash Miner and Team Red Miner is roughly 6.7% uplift in your hash rate. They only take 2%, so you're still making out if you have an AMD card. If you're going to do Vertcoin on NVIDIA, you need to use the VertHash Miner program. So I did spend a lot of time with it on Ravencoin. That's what these first 5 lines are right here. Bone stock BIOS, no overclocks, 4.5 mega hashes a second. Pretty abysmal. But if you put on the pro version of Polaris Bios Editor, because the free version I tried, it was not stable. I kept on getting invalid shares and it was just Team Red Miner reboot every single time. So on the pro version, it worked great. Once you tweak the overclocks, I actually got it up to 6.08 mega hashes a second. So we went from an efficiency, bone stock of 0.0421 all the way up to 0.0715 at just over 6 mega hashes a second. And 85 watts at the wall minus 18, what is that, 75? It's like 68 watts from this card to run 6 mega hashes. So that's not bad in the grand scheme of things, as long as you mod this card. I would never run this card stock. One of the real big gainers was ERGO, another altcoin that would work really good on this card. Bone stock, it ran just shy of 20 mega hashes a second. But once you put the pro modded BIOS on it and then tweak out the overclock, we got this card all the way up to 30.9 mega hashes a second, only pulling 68.5 watts from the wall, which is, what's that, 68, 58, 50.5 watts from this card, running ERGO at 30.9 mega hashes a second. This is a good ERGO card. So the last line here is for Ethereum Classic. Says you can't do regular Ethereum on 4 gig cards. Well, you sort of can, but it's not worth it. Anyway, bone stock 10.43 mega hashes. After using the pro version of the modded BIOS and tweaking it out, we got it all the way up to 14.73 mega hashes at 77.5 watts at the wall, which is what, 59 watts? Is my math right? 59 watts at the wall for 14.7 mega hashes of Ethereum Classic. Is this card worth mining on, considering all you go from a 560 to a 570, and this thing has just under half of the compute cores of a 570? I would say yes, this is good to mine on if you can get it cheap. If you can get this for $75 or $100, I would definitely go for it. That's why I bought this one, so I can do the testing. But if you're going to pay $150, $200 for this 4 gig card, no, don't do it. Go find something else. So considering I have this 19 GPU motherboard, I would love to, once the crypto winter hits and I can buy a ton of these cards for like $50 each, just load it up. Get like 18, 19 of these cards running low power on an altcoin 4 gig algorithm. That would be a kick-ass rig to set up. Unfortunately, I can't do that right now because people, a lot of them are still wanting $200 for this rinky-dink little card. But it does work. So if you made it all the way through the video, thanks for watching. Thumbs up, please. Share this around. And down in the video description, please come and check out the Mining Misfits Discord channel. I'm in there. If you need any extra help, I can help you. And trust me, there's plenty of other people in there that are very helpful if you have problems with your mining rig or you just have general questions. So I will see you on the next video.